Hi everyone, welcome back to The Bird in the Basement. I am Rowain Flynn and I am the GM for this game. We have kind of a small crew today. We only have two of our players, but that's okay. We are going to have the story progress as much as we possibly can with just the two of them. And I'm going to let the two of them introduce themselves and their characters. And then I will go ahead and do a short recap of what happened last game. So let's start with Josh.
All right, hi, I'm Josh. I'm playing Crow Athanatos. He's a uh, custom lineage warlock, so he's a humanoid warlock, probably a human, but enough weirdness in his line that you wouldn't call him a straight up human. Um, and yeah, he's a warlock.
All right, and Robin.
Hi, I'm Robin. I'm playing Tarla. She is a half orc fighter.
All right, so last we left off, pretty much what ended up happening is you met with the new court wizard. Um, Crow had tea with the court wizard. The rest of the party was attacked in an alley by two very strange looking dragonborn. They looked more dragon than they looked whatever they were. They didn't look quite human. They looked off in some way. One of them you just flat out killed, and the other one of them you were in the process of dragging back to the castle to go torture information out of it. And that's kind of where you left off.
Yeah, we had managed to get him back to the torture chamber,
Hmm.
and the the head of the guard wanted in on it, I think.
Yeah, he was interested. If you remember, he has kind of an affinity for that sort of thing,
Yeah.
as he tortured a fairy unnecessarily. Fairy liked it a little. Um, so yeah, it's kind of your ball right now. What do you want to do with this strange looking dragonborn?
Well, we've got to wait for him to wake up, which will take an hour from what I remember.
Hmm.
So, um, the big thing is, does the truth serum get to us in time for that hour to be up, or are we going to be torturing him?
No, remember you won't get it until the next morning.
Oh, okay.
I believe, was it Snyx or Leolith? I think it was Leolith sent off for another truth serum to be delivered if possible. He sent the message to um, uh, Ava's father.
Okay.
So you're waiting on that. You won't have the truth serum at least until dawn. And then you're only going to have one of them unless you can somehow magically make another one come through.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess it's time for the hot pokers and stuff after this hour's up.
All right, is there anything that you had planned to do during this hour, or are you just going to wait?
Uh, I don't have any good idea of what to do. I guess if we leave the prisoner at the mercy of the guard captain, um, we could go get some like healing supplies to keep him alive.
You already have those.
Okay.
You got healing potions from when you went to the potion shop.
Oh, we did.
Yes.
Maybe we should get him strapped down to something while he's unconscious so we're not trying to do it while he's awake and fighting us.
That's a good plan.
All right. As you are strapping down this strange looking dragonborn, a nurse, very timid nurse. Why did I say nurse? A maid very timidly steps into the room holding an overly frilly, aggressively pink ball gown, and says, "Excuse me, sir, I know you really hate being interrupted when you're in this room, but I just found something you should probably know." And she Charles nods for her to come in. He's been sharpening every single metal item in this place very happily, waiting for the Dragonborn to wake up. Um, the maid turns out the inside bodice of the dress, and there's a strange looking, obviously out of place sewn in pocket with a piece of fabric that looks like it was haphazardly put in at the last minute. Um, and when she shakes the fabric a little bit, there's something in it that is jingling against the boning of the bodice. I just noticed it when I went to wash it because I thought, I know she's going to be, executed, but we can maybe sell the dress, or it can be for the next uh, time that the prince gets married. But I didn't want to open it because I didn't want to incriminate myself, of course. But I think maybe there's something in there that might be important to this whole matter. Uh, the captain of the guard takes one of his sharp instruments and cuts open the fabric pocket, and out clinks another bottle of poison that looks identical to the one that was taken to the court wizard.
Huh. So wait, she already had the poison and then there was another poison?
And you guys said that she was innocent.
Well, no, I mean, I've never said that she was innocent. I just think that
You've
she's not guilty.
implied she's innocent.
I just think she's not guilty alone if she is guilty at all.
Mm,
She's not very bright.
well, that's incredibly obvious.
Yeah, she's
Um,
not bright enough to have concealed that in there, so either she didn't know it was in there, which is my guess. I
uh,
still think someone's trying to set her up.
the captain of the guard looks at the dress, looks at the bottle, and he goes, "I don't know, those sewing skills, that does not speak of high intelligence." As you take a closer look, you'll notice that the sewing skills are incredibly terrible.
Hmm.
Like if you look very closely on the front of the dress, at various points the stitching actually comes out through the front. And like it's obviously something was sewn into the dress if anybody had taken a good hard look at it at any point during the um, dinner.
I'm surprised that no one was staring at her bodice.
The captain of the guard says, "Well, with a face like that."
So, I guess we should try to figure out what's going on with this. I mean,
Well, I think it's just further proof that she, at the very least, deserves the axe.
I would agree, but if she knows someone who could threaten the prince in the future, then we'd probably want to keep her alive at least long enough to figure that out.
I think that she's probably one of the biggest threats to the prince. Even if you're right and she's being manipulated, she's just going to be manipulated right back into basically danger around the prince. Because who wouldn't accept her back? If she didn't really do it, then they'd accept her back in. Um, you know, who wouldn't forgive her to get her into their bed? I think that it's important that either way she's gotten rid of for good.
I mean, if she didn't do it, then killing her would be unjust. Not that I'm
Sometimes there are
particularly worried
shades
about.
of sway to morality.
That's fair. I'm not particularly worried about justice in this case. I just want to keep the prince, my meal ticket, the prince alive.
He laughs a little at that and he's like, yes, sometimes I also feel that way. Please don't tell them.
Of course.
The captain of the guard kind of swirls the poison around in the vial, looks thoughtful for a second, and then says, look, if you have any inclination of trying to get any information out of her before I chop her head off, you might want to, do it before I chop her head off. Um, I don't want to go talk to her because I get a migraine even thinking about doing that now. But I'm sure that if she was wearing this dress while it was in it, she would have at least felt it. Though with that sewing job, I have a feeling she'd put it in there herself, and I think you're wasting your time. But I mean, the Dragonborn isn't awake yet. If he wakes up before you get back, you can, well, he'll be his own sort of alarm clock, don't you worry.
All right.
I feel like we should talk to her, but the times we've talked to her in the past, we haven't been particularly helpful. We haven't been able to get much out of her that wasn't nonsense, but we could try.
I mean, it's all up to you. It's all the same to me. I'll just chop her head off. But, um, if you have any inclination of or desire to save her, then, do what you want to do. I'm fine with you here waiting with me and we just dealing with this.
Well, I'm curious to see if she at least suspected something was in the dress. I mean, she can't be, well, yeah, I guess she can't be that stupid. But
Yeah. Yeah, let's go at least kind of roll this over in her head and see if there's anything that falls out. And then we go.
okay.
It's right down the hall, I suppose, so.
Hmm. As soon as you open the door, some very terrible singing graces your ears. Like the worst singing you ever heard, and you're pretty sure it's coming from her.
Oh, great.
She seems to be in a surprisingly good mood for the circumstances. But she is singing something between like a nursery rhyme, but she's half forgotten the words, so she's just putting random words in there. And she couldn't carry a tune if you gave her a bucket.
Hmm.
As
Great.
you approach her cell, she leans her head through the bars and very loudly says, "Oh my God, you came back! Did you tell the prince I love him? Is he coming to see me? Is he coming to let me out of here? I don't understand. This isn't what I imagined when I heard about the honeymoon suite."
Well, this is technically a dungeon, so.
What? A dungeon? But I'm not into that kind of thing.
Well, we did tell the prince that you loved him, and he's currently feeling very ill.
Oh no! He needs my kisses to make him better. Tell them to let me out of here.
You I'm just checking, but you do know that there's like a headsman coming for you, right?
What's a headsman?
The guy who chops heads off.
Why would he be coming for me?
Because they think you killed the king.
That's silly. Everyone's silly. I like playing pretend too, though.
Um,
That's the thing. I don't think they're playing pretend in this.
Mm, no, that's silly. I wouldn't kill the king. He was gonna be my new daddy. I don't know what I was gonna do with my old daddy. She seems contemplative for a second and then shrugs her shoulders and she's like, I'll just have two daddies. Some people have two.
That's fair. But, well, new daddy died, so he's not going to be new daddy, and they think that you killed him, so you're not gonna have any daddies soon if that doesn't get fixed. You're going to be in a box in the ground forever.
You're silly.
Can I roll persuasion to try and get
Go
my
ahead
point
and try.
across?
Go ahead and try. Oh boy. Persuasion. Wait, what is persuasion based on again?
Charisma.
Oh boy, she has a high charisma.
Oh, so she counters it with insight, which is wisdom based.
Oh boy, okay.
So I got a 23.
Yeah, there's no way. Okay, so you're convincing her of the situation.
Yes.
She breaks down sobbing and runs to the back of her cell and curls up in a ball on the little cot in there. And every time that you try to say anything to her, she just screams, Go away!
Right. Well, just so it's clear, we're the only ones that can help you.
Go away! Everyone's always so mean to me.
We weren't.
We really are trying to help, and there's been a development that maybe you can help us understand.
Everybody's always so mean to me, especially that girl, that made eyes at him all the time. She's so mean.
Yeah, so about that maid, did she give you the poison?
Her? I wouldn't take anything from her. I don't want her perfume.
Okay. Did you notice when you were going to the dinner that there was something sewn into your bodice?
Sewed into my bodice? What do you mean? What's a bodice?
The
She like stops crying and sits up and like is obviously trying to think hard about what the word bodice could mean.
Something sewn into your dress in the front.
It was a pretty dress. I don't think so.
nothing was sewn into the dress when you went.
Hey,
You
there
didn't
are
feel anything hard against you? That sounded wrong.
no, I mean there's always hard pokey bits in the dress and mom always said that those are the pains of being a pretty woman. Uh I no, it's always been that pokey.
Okay. Um, so you didn't get your perfume from Jolene. eh,
No, ew, why would I want to smell like Jolene? I
That's
hate her.
that's
You
fair.
told us before that she gave you the perfume, though. Do you remember telling us that?
She gave she gave me the no. No. Oh, did you not know there's two Jolenes?
No, we did not know that.
There are two Jolenes. I can't explain it, but there's Jolene and there's Jolene.
Okay. So the Jolene that makes eyes at the prince was not the one that gave you the perfume.
No, you. Why would I give stuff to you? I don't want to smell like her.
Okay, so who was the Jolene who gave you the perfume?
Um, I only see her sometimes. She's nicer than other Jolene. I call her nice Jolene. She would bring me breakfast sometimes, and she would tell me I was pretty, and she would braid my hair, um, and she always did nice things for me.
Is she a maid too?
She's always in a maid's outfit.
Okay.
Sometimes, I think I think Daddy once told me that sometimes you can be born and there are two of you.
Ah. Well, that's interesting.
So maybe it's that. But I don't know. I don't care. There's just good Jolene and bad Jolene.
Well, maybe we can ask good Jolene if you know where she hangs out.
I don't know. In the castle.
Okay.
By the way, she has seemed to completely forget the whole she's dying thing.
Yeah.
They're like, she keeps touching her eyes and looking confused, like, why are they wet?
You know what? That's probably for the best. Um, well, we've got a dragonborn to interrogate.
What's a dragonborn?
It's a guy who's part dragon.
Whoa! Like in the fairy tales?
Kinda.
That's cool. Could I see it?
If we bring him past here, then I will make sure to tell you that he's coming.
Okay, I want to pull its tail.
Does the dragonborn have a tail?
Yes, surprisingly.
Okay.
Like I said, they're more dragon than man.
Right.
Okay, bye. Kisses. Love you both.
Bye.
My,
And then we'll go back to.
The obnoxious singing starts up again.
We will rapidly go back to
yeah,
the
we'll
the torture
run.
room and close the door.
Like, if she had to make a performance roll, she's going to have like a -4 on. Well, no, it's charisma based. She's still really bad at it.
Apparently.
For someone with as high charisma as she has, she's terrible at it.
That's fair. She only seems to have high charisma in terms of appearance.
Yeah. Well, when you have a charisma of 20, but like an int of 4, what you gonna do?
Right.
And 4 might be being a little generous sometimes.
I think wolves have like more than 4 int. So
Yeah. Well, a wolf could survive in the forest.
that's
Could
true.
Ava? I don't know.
Maybe 5 minutes, sure, but longer than that.
Yeah. All right. So back to the interrogation room, I guess, to wait out this guy's waking up. Actually, we can talk to the captain of the guard about other Jolene.
Right. I'm wondering if there's three possibilities. One, Ava's as crazy as she is stupid. Two, Jolene has a twin. Three, Jolene has multiple personality disorder. I'm not sure which one I'm leaning toward at this point.
Or 4, it's just someone else named Jolene and she doesn't understand the difference
Yeah,
between
that could be too.
twins and same
People
name.
with other names.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, that seems fairly likely with her.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to ask the captain of the guard if there's a second Jolene that works at the castle.
Okay, he's going to look at you with one eyebrow raised and be like, "Do you think I pay attention to the maids or something? That's not my purview.
That's fair.
I don't know. Maybe." I honestly do not care much for whatever goes on in the whole world of who works what and who beats what rugs out the back.
Well,
Not my concern.
Maybe,
interestingly, the maid who dresses Ava um, is not the same one as the one who we recently talked to. So we're hoping to find out more information about that because whoever dressed her was probably the one who sewed that little violin. Ava does not know anything about it, and I don't think that she's capable of lying to me.
He's like, color me surprised. Ava's incapable of something that requires 2 brain cells.
Exactly.
Told you were wasting your time.
So we should find the maid who dresses her because that would be. Do you want to go
maybe,
ahead and do that?
maybe we should talk to the head maid again, the one who told us about the Jolene we talked to.
Yeah.
Maybe we could ask her if there's another Jolene, or if, you know, there is a chance, of course, that Ava had the name completely wrong as well. So we could ask the head maid who typically dresses Ava.
That's fair. Let's I guess we've got enough time to do that between now and when this thing wakes up.
Yeah, um, again, you'll be able to hear his screams when that happens, so, I'll, warm him up for you.
Fantastic. Please don't literally set him on fire. I don't know if that'll make him explode or not.
The captain of the guard's eyes go like a kid in a candy store, and he's like, fire? Why have I never considered fire before?
And I guess I will or we will head out to the head maid.
Mm-hmm. So to the kitchen, I guess, is where she hangs out.
Yeah. Unless she's still berating the other Jolene
Mhm.
outside. But that was a while ago.
That was a while ago. No, actually, it seems like you're getting to the time of night where dinner has been served and everything's kind of uh, winding down for the evening. But the head maid is taking her dinner in the kitchen while yelling at the girls that are trying to do all the dishes from dinner, trying to get them to do things the way that she thinks they should be done.
Awesome. That.
She looks at you as you come in and says, "You guys again?"
Yep. So Ava had a second bottle of poison sewn into her bodice. And
Okay.
yeah, we were just wondering who dresses her.
That's Jolene.
The other Jolene.
What other Jolene? There's a
There,
Jolene.
there's only one Jolene.
There's only one Jolene I'm acquainted with, and I'm pretty sure I know everyone.
Huh. Well, she suggests that there's a good Jolene that is nice to her and a bad Jolene that's mean to her.
Look, you've obviously been talking to the girl.
Yeah.
I
Trying
don't
to.
I don't think I need to say anything else. Um, that girl went around for a while. And granted, consider I've only known her for a few months since this relationship's been ongoing. And she's had at least 3 imaginary friends in this time.
Well, so we do know that that Jolene hates her.
Jolene hates anyone that looks at any man that she thinks could get her out of being uh, a maid and where she's supposed to be.
Right. So if she's the one that was dressing her, well, that suggests some really interesting things about that relationship. Why would
Look,
she be willing to?
willing is a strong word. Me thinking it's a little bit of a fitting punishment for her to understand that she can't have every rich man that walks into her view um, is, probably a good life lesson. Also, very entertaining for me.
Okay. Is there any way that we could go see Ava's room?
Yeah, we've been kind of clearing it out a little bit because, um, but yeah, I mean, it's still mostly together. We've just been clearing out that wardrobe and, well, don't tell the prince, but trying to divvy it up between ourselves. Um, you got to make some extra side cash here and there, and she had some pretty ridiculous dresses. The king really doted on her as kind of the daughter that he could never have.
Well, that's interesting. Once
I don't know why
again,
you'd want that for a daughter, but I suppose he got desperate after his wife died, and it was pretty obvious he was never going to remarry again.
yeah, that can happen, I suppose. Well, if you wouldn't mind giving us directions to her room, we'll go
I'd
roll it
sort of like to look around in Jolene's room too, if she's not in it at the moment.
Um, I'm not supposed to technically say that you can go do that. However, um, if you happen to stumble into the room that is up the stairs to the right, all the way to the servants' quarters, and then it's the one that smells obnoxiously like a young woman with far too much stock and perfume, then you'll have found Jolene's room.
Well, we do have dispensation to investigate this place, so thank you for not telling us where that went.
Ava's room is the other end of the hallway. It's not the royal bedrooms, but it's kind of like the royal guest room. So you already have been to the prince's bedroom. If you go down like 5 rooms, the one with well, it did have a big pink wreath hanging on it, but I don't know if it's still there because, the girls have been in there.
All right. That's pretty much all we needed, so do you
Thank
want
you.
to go roll over these rooms?
Yes.
Yep,
Okay.
I'm gonna get back to my dinner. You've bothered me several times today. At least let me get a nap in before the next time.
Yeah, we're hoping to get some sleep at some point too, but
Yeah,
we've got a
it's
torture
been
to
a
work
long
on.
day. I have a whole beheading to prepare for tomorrow.
Right. Hopefully, we figure out whether that's necessary or not.
She shrugs her shoulders and is like, "It's entertainment."
Dark. All right.
Well, when you've had a boss like mine for as long as I have, you get used to beheadings.
Oh, the king was into beheadings.
She starts laughing and like can't catch her breath for a minute, and she's like, "Oh, you're serious. You're not from here."
No, no, we're not.
No?
So the king had a lot of people beheaded.
Oh, yes. Very much so. I'm sure that a lot of the local nobles have thrown some parties instead of some wakes.
I see. Well, that's actually good information. We'll try not to bother you until you've had a nap, so.
Yeah, she very loudly crunches on her meal and waves you away like you're one of the maids.
I'm like, I really need to make sure I get paid for this. And then, which place do you want to investigate first? Jolene's room or Ava's?
Let's go to Ava's first.
All right, to Ava's room. Do we
All
pass
right,
by the prince's room as we do that?
you do. And actually, before you even get to the princess room, you almost run smack dab into the court wizard coming down from that direction. He like meets you at the top of the stairs and goes, "Oh, hello again."
Hello.
Mhm.
We found out that there was another vial of poison. The captain of the guard has it now. If you would like to investigate that one as well.
Yes, of course. I'll have to go get it from him. I was just checking on the prince to see how his illness is progressing or getting better. I'm happy to report that he is looking much better.
Oh,
Good.
good.
That's perfect.
Yes, it seems my antidote has been helping, though it might take another couple days to purge it fully from his system.
It seems so strange to me that he was poisoned the same way.
Well, I mean, she did kiss him and with it on her lips, so
Right. It seems like she really wouldn't have been capable of that without poisoning herself, but
well, I've already explained that mechanism to you.
yes, I know. The the lipstick stuff that kept her safe,
Yes.
but I'm still surprised she didn't accidentally drop some directly into her mouth when she was applying it.
Oh, I'm sure that was probably also the intention of, you know, if somebody did uh, want her to deliver this, if that's how that happened, perhaps it was meant for her to die. I've been thinking on it. Um, Whoever is behind this, if it is not just her, um, maybe they did just want her to accidentally ingest it herself and die along with the entire royal family.
Hmm.
I have a lot of time to think right now, without the king yelling at me to do one thing or another all day. It's amazing. I can finally tend to my garden and do things that aren't trying to figure out how to poison foreign dignitaries.
Ah, that was an activity that the king had you working on.
Oh, he would have never admitted it while alive, but yes, I'm been told that is one of the major reasons the former court wizard was let go. He was unwilling to play those games anymore.
I see. Well, let's hope that when the prince ascends, he doesn't have you working the same way. He's a
He
good man.
chuckles a little bit to himself and says, "Yes, quite. Um, tea tomorrow at some point."
Of course. That sounds lovely.
I was thinking after the beheading. I know it's a grisly bit, but nothing calms the nerves more than a good cup of tea in the garden.
That's fair.
I'm going to go fetch that vial of poison and, well, I suppose add it to my collection now. I don't suppose it's probably going to be any different. Did it look like the other vial?
Uh,
Yes, it looked like the same kind of stuff. Yes.
yeah,
Well, I'll check it out, but I have a gut feeling that it's going to be the same. I don't think anyone behind this whole thing is very intelligent.
right. I'm hoping that they aren't because, well, dealing with this whole mess has twisted my brain into knots. I've never been good as a wizard. Well, my magic comes from other places.
Ah, well, at least you possess the spark of magic at all.
I nod.
All right, good evening to you both. I will go retire to my tower if you absolutely need anything.
Of course. I hope to see you in sometime tomorrow after the beheading for a spot of tea. Or hopefully we can postpone the beheading because grisly business.
The wizard shrugs and says, "Whatever the outcome is, as long as it's over, it will be good enough for me." All right, so you go on past the wizard and down the hallway past the prince's room. The prince's door is shut, though the light is on. There's candles lit in the room. Um, do you have any reason that you want to stop and talk to the prince, or are you just going straight to Ava's room?
Going straight to Ava's room.
Yeah, we don't need to talk to him.
Okay,
I mean, I'm not
so
about to tell him that his, ex-fiance wants him to come rescue her.
Yeah.
So that's above my pay grade.
all right, so the pink wreath is still on the door, although there are several of the silk flowers that have been ripped out, probably the prettier ones. Um, and as you crack open the door, um, it it's been pretty picked over at this point. The maids have pretty much taken anything not nailed down worth anything.
Hmm.
So the things that are left behind look like little, like kind of sentimental gifts that the princess maybe given her, things that her family has sent with her to, help her settle in and feel at home. Um, there is a wide range of cosmetics, though a lot of them obviously have been taken. The ones that have been left behind are like offensively glittery that would make it very obvious that a maid had stolen it if they tried to wear it themselves. So basically, you have a nice supply of costume grade makeup if you want any of it. Um, Various perfume vials, some of which have been emptied out, but a lot of them have actually been left there. And if you pop open any of them, they have interesting smells.
Okay.
She also has a rock collection in a big box that nobody's touched. And there is a bunch of different vials of various shapes and colors that look like they were just pretty to her that she took from her father's shop.
Hmm.
Her clothes have been completely savaged by the maids. Like they have taken pretty much everything she owned.
So about the vials, do any of them look like the ones that we've seen with the poison in them?
Similar, but they look like they've long been washed out and like haven't contained anything in a while.
Okay. Speaking of that, does my health potion that I bought, does that have a same vial structure?
Yes.
Okay. So it looks like the poison did come from his shop, or at least the vial it was kept in.
Yes, which he admitted.
Yeah.
He admitted it came from his supplier, so you would assume that his some of his potion vials are going to come from that same place.
Yeah. I just wanted to be certain that there wasn't something weird going on there. Um, so the
Uh,
cosmetics,
mhm.
are any of those tubes of lipstick remaining?
Um, so there are several pots of some lipstick. Some of them are pretty garish colors. One of them does look to be approximately the same shade of intense pink that her engagement dinner dress was.
Okay. Well, I have a +1 to medicine. Um, do you have any skill at medicine, my friend?
Let me see. I have a +2. No,
We could work together to
not.
try and determine if this is poisoned,
Okay.
so I'll try the help action, and then you would get advantage.
Okay. Yeah, so that would be a 19.
Okay. So does this seem like the kind of stuff that could repel the poison or be poisoned itself?
Um, if you open up the lid,
Yeah.
um, yeah, as you open up the lid, you're actually hit with a rather pungent aroma that really reminds you of when you experienced the vial being opened at the poison.
Okay. Well, that's good knowledge. I'm gonna go ahead and pocket that poison lipstick, and probably take it to the wizard tomorrow.
Yeah, I was gonna say you should take that to him when you go see him tomorrow.
Yeah. Um. Hmm. So the other thing I wanted to
Maybe,
check for while I was here was I wanted to like just do a general search of the whole room to see if there was anything strange hidden somewhere.
Okay, roll investigation.
Oh boy. Can you help me with this one so I get advantage?
yeah.
All right. You don't have to roll anything, you just say you help.
Okay, yes, I'll,
I rolled 12. I thought it was two twos. Well, 12.
All right, does our half orc want to try on her own?
sure. Investigation?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll give her some help too. I guess we're both helping each other.
That I also got a 12.
Okay. We're good at this.
Right.
Woo. Nope. Okay, there's nothing really out of place in this room.
Other
Um,
Seems
than
like
other than
the
how it's all
rest
been
of
turned
the,
over.
can I check the rest of the lipsticks and see if those are okay or if any of those have been poisoned as well?
yeah, you can open up the other ones. They don't smell the same at all. They
Hmm.
just seem like regular cosmetics. All just offensively purple or offensively red or just extreme colors.
Okay. And does that hold true for all of her cosmetics? Like blush and
Does it
whatever
all
else?
smell normal
Yeah.
otherwise? Yeah.
Okay. Um hmm.
The only other thing I'd like to do is dig around inside that box of rocks because that kind of seems like the sort of place that someone would hide something they didn't want found because who's going to go through a box of rocks?
Yeah.
Okay. At the bottom of the box of rocks, which is surprisingly deep, like she must have been keeping this box of rocks since she was a child. Every pretty rock she's ever seen has gone in this box. There's actually an envelope folded up, and it seems like it has a letter in it by the script on the front and um, like the little doodle of the hearts of the front that says "To my love." You can pretty much guess it's a love letter.
Well, let's check it out and make sure it's from the prince.
So it is from the prince. And it says, "To my love, whom I will never be able to really be with." And it's just a long love letter of basically yearning and longing. Um, and then it never actually says Abba's name, but it doesn't say anyone's name. And then at the bottom, it's just signed Phaedron.
Okay.
Well, it wouldn't be to her because obviously, if it says who I'll never be with, he was going to marry her, so he was going to be with her, so it's got to be to someone else.
That's fair. Huh. I wonder why she kept it. Maybe she just thought it was for her anyway.
She probably didn't even read it. She probably just saw the envelope that said to my love and assumed it was for her.
That's assuming she can read it all. She might have just seen the
Yeah,
hearts and thought,
that's
hearts.
true too.
Um, Make a perception roll as your hand is sifting through these rocks.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm super perceptive. That was a 6 total.
Okay, you can tell that there's something slightly off about some of the rocks, but you don't know what it is.
I'll check out the box of rocks if you let me know that.
Okay.
Hot damn, 19 plus 1, 20.
Okay, some of the rocks seem to actually be pieces of basically boiled hard candy instead of rocks. But they have a very strange film on them, and there seems to be a lot of them in the box.
Interesting. Um, I don't know who to take this to who's good at figuring this kind of stuff out other than the wizard who I want to keep, like, let sleep.
Well, you can take it to him when you meet with him tomorrow.
Yeah, but we want her to live, so.
To be
Oh,
fair,
yeah.
it's only like dinner time.
Oh, it's only like dinner time? Okay.
Yeah, dinner has been served to like everyone important in the castle. The maid's just been up since like 3 a.m. So,
Oh, okay.
Or if
because
we
she's had
really
to
wanted,
prepare the castle for a funeral and an execution.
if we really wanted to torture ourselves, we could take it to Ava and ask her about it.
Neither one of you are brave enough to taste the candy.
Actually, you know what? That's got a weird film on it, though. I don't know.
I'll smell it. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
go so far as to taste it, but I'll smell it.
So you're gonna smell the candy.
Yeah.
It smells sweet, but also really strange. Um, Almost like some perfume or something that you have recently smelled. But it both smells like something edible and not.
Does it smell at all like the poison that we have a pot of?
Maybe very faintly, but it also is hard to tell because of all the other terrible scents from the perfume in the room.
Hmm,
Because remember, she's a connoisseur of interesting smells.
that's true. We'll take this out of the room and try to determine the smell at some point.
Her giant box of rocks.
Just some of the candy.
Okay. About to say, this is like an impressively large box of rocks.
Well, I'm pretty sure it'd be fine for the half orc to carry it out. Like, I'm pretty sure she has some good strength on her. I've got okay
Yeah.
strength for that matter, so.
Yeah, my strength's good.
But
But
just some
but yeah,
candy
we
is
just
fine.
need to take a few pieces of the candy.
Yeah.
All right. Do either of you want to take our break?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's leave this here for our break. It's a good point to stop.
Okay.
All right. So let's take our break. For those of you watching or listening, no time will pass at all. Um, but we will have a short summary of where we are when we get back.
Okay.
All right, we're back from our break, and where we left off was they had just found a strange box in Ava's old room that looked like it was full of rocks, but it actually contained what looked like to be some kind of love letter and also had some very strange looking candies in it.
Okay. So I'm guessing that we should take this to the wizard, but I want to roll over Jolene's uh, quarters first.
Yeah, I'd like to check her quarters at it too. I want to see if there's any of this poison in her room.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I guess we turn around and head out the door and head to where we were told Jolene's room was, which is on the other side of the castle, pretty much.
Yep, it's actually quite a walk on your way out there. But when you do eventually make it, it does not look like Jolene is in her room. Her door is actually cracked open, like she's recently left, because the candles are still lit in here.
Oh,
It does smell very much like a perfume shop in there. Like she must bathe in the stuff. But it actually smells nice. To her credit, it's not as offensive as Ava.
just intensely nice.
Yes,
Overpowering.
yes, like somebody uh, rolled through a field of flowers and then like took each one of them and like rubbed them into their skin until it was never going to wash off again kind of smell.
Intense. All right.
On her bed, very obviously, you see several dresses that you're pretty sure smacks of Ava's sense of style.
Okay. Well, that's something that we expected, or at least I expected.
Mhm.
I want to check those dresses just in case for any sewn in hidden pockets.
Okay. You go through several of the dresses, and they don't look like there's anything hidden in any of the bodices or anything. Though you do notice that it looks like Ava's starting to take some of the more over the top embellishments off of them, like cutting off some of the giant bows or the giant rhinestones or the diamonds or whatever, and is trying to tailor them to be less Ava.
Oh, you mean Jolene is doing that?
Yeah, sorry,
Okay,
Jolene. Yeah.
cool.
Um, she hasn't really started on like any of the actual altering. She's mostly just cut things off at this point.
Okay. Um,
I want to start going through her perfume bottles and seeing if any of them smell poisony.
yeah. While
Okay.
she's doing that, I'm gonna just generally roll the place to see what's in drawers and dresser and wardrobe if she has it. I don't know what a maid's room looks like.
She has a bed, she has a chest, she has a vanity like area, and that's honestly pretty much it.
All right, so I'll turn out her chest and basically search under her bed, that kind of thing.
Okay. So what do we want to go through first? The perfume bottles or the chest in the bed?
Let's go with the perfume bottles. She spoke first.
Okay, so she has quite an extensive perfume collection. Um, there are actually several empty bottles that look like they've been just kind of haphazardly tossed next to her collection. They look very similar to the ones that were in Ava's room, so it looks like she's pilfered some extra bottles that she thought were pretty, probably to transfer some of her cheaper perfumes into to make them look more expensive. Um, so her perfume collection pretty much reeks of cheap. It seems like she has bought as many different scents, but as cheaply as she possibly could. And it does seem like she's dabbled in mixing some of them. She actually has a little section that smells absolutely terrible. Not like the poison, but just like experiments that were failed that are actually labeled "Give to Ava."
And Ava would probably like them, knowing her.
Um, which probably means that Ava wants her to smell terrible, but eh, maybe Jolene hasn't figured out that's a good thing to Ava yet.
Yeah.
Right. What about the empty bottles? Do they smell like they could have had poison in them at some point?
They just smell like they've held cheap perfume for
Mm.
a while.
Okay.
On her vanity, besides the perfume, there is some, again, obviously stolen from Ava's room, new makeup that's been added. And then she also seems to have a penchant for mixing makeups together. So she has a lot of containers that have obviously like mixed lipstick shades and stuff like that to try to come up with new stuff from her cheap collection. So she has a lot of um, like little glass tubs or glass containers that are just coated with all sorts of different colors that she's tried to scrape out and like save or throw away the ones that didn't turn out so well. So her vanity's kind of a mess. Like she has various like stirring rods that are all like crusty and old with different lipsticks, and it seems like this is perhaps her hobby.
And none of those lipsticks carry the same shades of intensity that.
It's a rainbow. So yes, some of them are pretty intense. Some of them seem like they might be something Ava would be into.
Hmm. Um, are any of them that pink that we found earlier?
There's a few that might be pretty close.
All right. Let's open them up and take a whiff.
Oh, so it's mostly just on stirring rods that she's used and like tossed to the side. So if you want to smell those, you could do that.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Do any of those smell of poison, basically?
No, though one of them is pretty much spot on exactly the right shade.
Hmm. But what didn't have the poison mixed in when she did that? All right. Let's take that stirring rod with us, I guess, just in case we have to try to, I don't know, prove that Jolene did something. Maybe we want another beheading. I don't know.
Okay.
And then I'm turning out her chest, so
Okay, it has several maids outfits that look like she's been altering them. Um, Various stage of probably her trying to skirt the rules of the uniform, like trying to see what she can get past the head maid to wear. Like some of them have the neckline a bit too daringly low for a maid in a castle. Some of them have the skirt higher than it should be. Some of them have sleeves that are way too short and too obvious, that obviously they've been shoved to the bottom of the trunk because they've been nixed by the head maid every time she's seen her. Um, Make a perception roll.
um 15 plus 1, so 16.
16. Um, she is not a good sewer.
Ah, that's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, she is not good at it. Um, though, is she as terrible as the sewing you saw earlier? Borderline.
Maybe if
You
she was
haven't
in a
seen
rush.
you haven't seen anything obviously that bad, but part of her problems with making alterations is she's not very good at it, so it's kind of obvious. The rest of the clothing is stuff that obviously is above her station, so it looks like while she's been being a maid and there's either been guests or dignitaries, that maybe she's been taking some clothing from some of the women that fit her size.
Hmm. That's something we could use to get her kicked out of here, but do we really need that? Then she'd be on the street and we wouldn't be able to find her if they needed to behead her.
That's also something we could use to lean on her a little, to see if she really does know more about this whole poison thing than she says she does, like blackmail, you know.
That's fair. Okay. Um, and then like under her bed and behind her vanity, that kind of stuff.
Under her bed, there are several pairs of shoes that, again, are not very maid-like and obviously very expensive that she has somehow managed to get her hands on. Um, there is one pair of shoes that seems incredibly out of place. Like they are many sizes too big for her. So why she would have them seems strange.
I'm going to examine those shoes.
Okay, they have a little bit of a heel and obviously are meant for like kind of a ballroom dance kind of situation. So they would be moderately comfortable while dancing while still being a heeled shoe. Um, and they look very expensive. Like you're pretty sure the little diamond teardrops on the front of the shoes are real diamonds.
Maybe I should just take these and get paid by selling them.
They might fit you. Actually, they're pretty big shoes. They are not meant for a dainty woman's foot.
Okay. We don't really know what size of feet Ava has, but
I mean, you could go check at her shoe collection.
that's fair. We should have done that.
If the mage left any of them.
Yeah. Well, if they're enormous, then, you know. Um, my biggest worry is how fast we need to get this candy to the wizard, because he might take a while to, like, you know, examine it. But we also need to go back to interrogate that dragonborn.
Hmm.
And I'd still half kind of like to take one of the pieces of candy to Ava and see if she can tell me anything about it, other than it's a pretty rock.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's kind of you're spoiled for choice at this point.
Alright, so I know that the wizard's tower is kind of far away from the castle itself.
Hmm.
So how about you take the candy to Ava and put her to the question? I'll go check on the Dragonborn to see if he's woken up yet.
Okay.
Okay. As you go down to the dungeon, as soon as you open the door to the dungeon, you again are assaulted. She seemingly has not stopped singing since you left. Now it's become basically completely gibberish. Um, but it's still kind of recognizable as some like nursery rhyme type stuff. Um, as you get partway down the hallway to where the Dragonborn's being held, you start hearing some screams. So you're pretty sure the Dragonborn's awake.
Oh, good. Do you want to stay for the Dragonborn interrogation or go talk to her now?
I'll go talk to her now, and I'm sure you will still be interrogating him. I'll meet you back in the
Okay,
in the torture room.
fun.
All right, so you make it down to Ava. She stops singing and says, "Oh, you're back again. That was really quick. I didn't even get through the whole song."
Yeah, I have a question. Actually, we were looking around in your room to see if we could find ways, something that would help your case, help improve your innocence and everything. And you seem to have do you collect rocks?
Lots of rocks. Yeah.
Okay, well, and I show her the candies. A lot of them look like this, but I don't really think this is a rock. Can you tell me anything about it? Do you know what this is?
Oh, yeah. I think they're rocks because, well, they were given to me as candy, but they taste good, okay, for the first part. They just taste like lemon and mint, and then all of a sudden they would taste really yucky. So I spit them out. They have to be rocks. So I put them with my rocks.
And who gave them to you?
Oh, nice, Jolene.
Nice Jolene gave them to you.
Yep. She always used to give me candy of different flavors. This one just, I'm pretty sure it's a rock. It just doesn't taste good. It tastes like a rock.
Okay, can I ask you what nice Jolene looks like? Does she look like mean Jolene at all,
Oh,
or?
she's nice, Jolene. My daddy says that sometimes people can be born twice at the same time. And I think she's one of those.
Okay, so they look the same?
Yeah, just one's mean and one's nice.
Okay, and was there a reason nice Jolene gave you the candy, or it was just a present?
Because she's nice.
Okay.
Did you taste any of the other rocks? They all have a different flavor.
Oh, no, I didn't taste any of them. I smelled them. They smelled sort of strange.
Oh, not all the rocks in the box smell strange. Some of them are a little salty, some of them taste like dirt. They all have a different flavor. I sometimes suck on the rocks, it comforts me.
So you taste the rocks that are actually not candy, that are just rocks.
Yeah, they all have a different flavor. They remind me of my childhood.
Uh, Eating dirt?
Well, yeah, doesn't everybody make mud pies? Mud pies are
Uh,
delicious.
Probably. Well, make them, yes. Eat them, no. But
But then why are they called pies?
This poor child.
and about the candy she gave you. When do you remember when she gave it to you?
Um, she started giving me that candy probably like a month ago,
Hmm.
back when I started living at the castle full time.
Oh, okay. And do you know if she happened to give any to anyone else, or was it just for you?
I don't know. I didn't see anybody else with it, and I think other people would have complained about how yucky it is. And nobody told me about the bad rocks that they had because I would have taken them.
Did you ever mention to her that it tasted yucky?
Yeah, but well, once or twice, but I didn't want to hurt her feelings because then maybe she'd stop bringing me candy. And she was the only one who brought me candy other than, well, my new daddy. Um, but new daddy's candy was always fancy and nice.
Um, Okay, well, thank you.
Uh-huh. She just goes back to singing and completely ignores that you're even there anymore.
So I'll go back to the torture room and see how things are going with the Dragonborn.
All right, so the Dragonborn has been loaded onto a stretching table and is already uncomfortably stretched out. Charles looks like he's having a wonderful time. He's laying out all of his instruments in order from dullest to sharpest. He's like, wonderful. Why am I torturing him? Not that I'm gonna stop, but I never really clarified why we were doing this. Just so we know the line of questioning.
Yeah, so apparently he was with a group that or he was one of two members that attacked the rest of my performance troupe.
Okay.
And as far as we know, they the old court wizard may have transformed them.
Transform them, you say? Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, so apparently they used to be children and now they're dragonborn. Because
But
dragonborn don't normally have tails, you know?
the dragonborn on the table says children? Where'd you get that idea?
Oh, so you weren't children.
Why would I be a child?
You're small.
Yeah, funny that, isn't it?
So were you like a halfling beforehand or a gnome?
uh, no. So, when are you gonna let me go?
Shortly after we've cut everything off of you if you don't answer our questions in a satisfactory way.
Oh, well, I'm dead either way, so, have fun with that.
You're dead if we let you go?
Probably.
I mean, you're technically in a castle right now. I think you could be protected if you let us know what we need to know before you know, get cut up too much.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I don't think that's, going to be true, but, you imagine whatever. There's still a small chance I'll be saved, so I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
Are you sure about that? I say, picking up a torture implement.
Charles is like, no, no, please, let me.
Okay, I'll let
This is
Char
my purview. This is what I do for fun.
Charles, you pick your favorite one of these that won't kill him too swiftly, and if he doesn't talk, poke him with it.
Charles picks up a small, thin knife and goes, I think I'll go for the toenails first.
Ugh. So, Mr. Dragonborn, tell us what we need to know, or Charles will go for the toenails. And I'm gonna go ahead and shoot and intimidate at this, because my character is way more intimidating than I am.
Okay, go ahead. What does intimidate challenged by?
Insight.
That's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, so I got a natural 20, so
Okay.
27.
Okay. He seems to waver for a minute and look uncertain. And he's like, no, I can still get out of this. Good luck with my toenails. And he wiggles his feet in his oversized boots. And Charles raises an eyebrow and like pulls the boots off, and he has dragon talons. And Charles like, what are you?
Well, that's the best I can do, so I guess Charles, get to torturing.
Yeah, Charles starts pulling on the rack, like they're turning the wheel to stretch him out. And the Dragonborn's doing a good job of being like, Ah, a nice spine alignment. It's all gonna be okay. Um, just as it's getting to the point where it's getting hard to turn the wheel and the Dragonborn screams are starting to get kind of loud, the door to the torture chamber opens up, and the court wizard says, "Ah, wasn't hard to find. I wonder why." Uh, so not to interrupt, don't stop on my accord. He is staring at the rack and being like, I'm glad to see Charles having fun for once. It's not often he has free leeway to torture as he pleases. Um, so I have determined that the poison is the exact same. Though completely unused. I actually had to pry off the protective. Hey, could you maybe quiet down a little bit? Could you, Charles? I hate to ask, but could you just lessen the wheel a little bit? Like I can't hear myself think. Okay, yeah, that's better. I will come to my tower. We'll have some tea later. I will get that aggression out with a nice Earl Grey. Um, So, yeah, so I actually had to break the protective seal on it that they put on it when they ship it long distance. So I have questions about why it was concealed in her bodice at all then, because she wouldn't have been able to open it quickly.
Hmm.
This makes me think that perhaps it was put in there by someone who had no idea how to use it. So that obviously Ava has no idea how to use it. But I thought you might want this information since you seem to be on a quest to ensure that the princess doesn't well, princess to be, I suppose, ex-princess, doesn't die in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, we found some candy in her room that smells of the poison.
Uh Delightful. That sounds terrible.
Yeah, it's not the
I
best smelling
can't
candy.
imagine that that tastes good.
She says it tastes bad, like bad
Yeah, she
rocks.
she
Oh, wait,
tasted it actually and said it didn't taste very good. Here, I show him the piece that I have that I took to her.
He lifts it up to the light, smells it, um, almost extends his tongue to taste it, and then like nearly hucks it across the room, and he's like, force of habit. Uh, I think this might actually have some of the poison in it. That's strange. Would you mind if I kept this piece?
oh no, that's
No,
fine.
go
We've got a
ahead.
bunch of pieces.
Okay, a bunch of pieces?
Oh yes.
There's a whole box full of them in Ava's room, and if it does have the poison in it and she ate it, I don't know how it didn't affect her, but
Maybe it's a low enough concentration?
could
That's the
be.
only thing I could think of. Though why anyone would put that in a candy um, is very strange. I don't know why anyone would do that.
Well, I think they were trying to get rid of Ava, would be my guess.
Either that
Well,
or
if
try to get her used to the poison.
I don't know, I that's that's a new one to me. I would have never thought of such a rare and hard to get your hands on kind of poison would be thrown in a batch of candy, especially if you didn't intend that candy to just off the person.
Yeah, seems strange to me too.
Yeah.
As you're discussing this, you hear Ava singing that was coming through the open door that the wizard left open turn into a strangled scream.
Ah, I will rush to her aid.
Yeah, I'll run in there to see what's going on.
You, as you approach the door, in the very distance, you hear a door slam, like somebody leaving the dungeon. Um, and you see Ava collapsed against the bars of her cell, and her face is turning purple.
Okay. Um, can I get into the cell?
Charles is running in behind you, and he is fiddling with his keys for the cell door. He's in a panic, though, and he does not respond well to high pressure situations, despite the position he is in. Um, so he is having a lot of dexterity issues getting the right key.
I will help him as much as I can.
The wizard is screaming at him to get the door open, which is not helping. Eventually, after probably about 30 seconds, Charles is able to get the right key into the door. He swings it open, and the girl falls into the hallway with a thump. She's still breathing, but barely. It's very gargled.
Alright. I will attempt the Heimlich maneuver. Because, wait, does she seem like she's got anything like clogging her breathing, is what I should say first.
Um, Medicine check?
Sure. 18?
You are pretty sure if you pry open her mouth that there's nothing actually stuck in there. You do notice that there is a piece of candy, though, that's in the side of her cheek. It does not look like the same candy from her box of rocks.
I look to the wizard and say, or first I pull out a health potion and pour it down her throat. Then I look to the wizard and say, do you have an antidote on you?
He looks very flustered and says, well, no, I didn't expect to need it. I will run and see what I can do if to get back in time. Um, though I just came down here and I didn't see anyone, so that's it has to be fast acting. I'll be right back. And he literally runs to the door to the dungeon. You hear it fly open and slam behind him. The health potion seems to have revived her slightly, but it does not take but maybe 30 more seconds, and she's obviously struggling to breathe again.
Okay. Um, yeah, I don't really have any more health potions, so that was the fairy that ended up buying a bunch.
Did you take the candy out of her
I did
mouth?
not. Let's do that. So yeah, let's take the candy out of her mouth and does it
Interestingly, when you wrap your fingers around the candy to take it out and you pull it out of her mouth, you start to feel a little ill,
Oh
like
shit,
sick to your stomach.
I should have used the lipstick.
So you feel a little sick to your stomach now.
Alright, do I need to make a con save or something?
Yes,
Of
you do.
course. Ooh. Natural 1 plus 4 for 5.
Okay, well, you didn't ingest it, but you're still probably gonna want to hope that the wizard brings extra antidote.
Yeah. I just to check, does it smell like the awful poison?
No, it's something different.
Okay.
So the wizard comes back after another minute. Um, it looks like the poison or the health potion has helped enough to where Ava is still alive, though barely. Um, The wizard looks to the captain of the guard and is like, "Why did you just leave her face down? Roll her over. God, you're the strong one." And Charles like springs into action. He's literally just been like deer in the headlights, not sure what to do. And like rolls her over, sits her up a little bit, and the wizard pours some of the vial in his hands down her throat, and says, "Well, I guess just keep her upright. It's a generic antidote. Hopefully, it'll work."
So about that, I withdrew the candy that was in her mouth from her, and now I'm feeling quite ill myself.
You touched the obviously poisoned candy.
I I did say I wasn't bright enough to be a wizard, right?
Right, okay, here, drink the rest of this. Well, maybe drink half of the rest of this. She might need it more.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay, it tastes strangely like licorice and lemon. It's not a great combination.
Um, yeah, so antidote. Hopefully it's enough.
Okay, he checks your like pupils to make sure they're not overly dilated and nods and says, "I think you'll be okay." Then he takes the rest of the vial and pours the rest down Ava's throat. Eventually, after probably a couple minutes, her face starts to depuff and get less purple. When she starts to get her wits about her, she looks around and then points to where the candy got tossed on the floor and says, "Can I have that rock?"
No, if you touch that
No.
rock, you'll die.
Oh, it's a pretty rock. And it is actually like a really pretty piece of candy. It's like very like clear see-through purple.
Okay.
Where did you get that? Did someone give it to you?
Yeah, some weird looking guy came and gave it to me.
No one ever told you not to take candy from strangers?
But it's candy. I want candy.
Oh,
It's not exactly candy. It's poison candy. Someone was trying to kill you just now.
The captain of the guard rolls his eyes and is like, "Okay, well, what did this strange man look like?" "He had a tail. He wouldn't let me pull it."
ah. How big was he?
He was kind of small. I didn't ask questions though, because as Daddy says, people come in all different shapes and sizes.
I turn to Charles and say, please, could you go check on our prisoner?
He basically mouths, "Oh shit," and takes off on a march down the hallway. As it turns out, you hear a large, bellowing swear word, and you can pretty much guess that your captive is gone.
Oh,
At least we've got his boots.
The captain of the guard comes back, boots in hand, and says, "We're idiots."
I nod.
The wizard's like, "You're idiots." As told by one of you managed to get poisoned by an obvious poisoned object, which, to save all of myself more work, he takes a handkerchief from his pocket and picks up the candy off the floor and is like, I'll take this. I'm afraid that one of you would try to pick it up again."
Yeah, I was gonna hand it to you, but I kind of thought it would be a bad idea.
wait a
Look,
minute. Wait a minute. The Dragonborn was being tortured when we heard her scream. He was in the room with us.
Yeah, there was another Dragonborn.
Right. Oh, okay. I was like, wait, I'm confused. I get where we're going.
Um,
He helped him escape. Okay.
yeah.
And remember, he was being tortured in the room where you guys had come in through the tunnel to the outside.
Hmm.
Plus, they had those teleporty crystals, so they could have got out really
That's
fast.
true.
So, speaking of that tunnel, uh, I go look at the tunnel.
Okay, it does look like the tunnel might have been opened recently.
Damn.
Though you looking down the tunnel as far as you can see, and it definitely is echoey. You don't think anyone's in there now.
Of course. Damn it. So, I look around for any broken pieces of crystal on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Um, there is no broken crystal inside the torture room, but you can only see so far into the tunnel. So unless you have a light that you want to go down and search, you won't be able to tell.
I do have a torch, so
Okay.
I might as well light that up and go take a look.
Okay. Then I guess I'll just give it to you. There are some shards of crystal about probably a good 10 feet into the tunnel, so it looks like maybe they got him out and then disappeared there.
Alright. I will take out a handkerchief and pick up the shards of crystal, just in case they're cursed or something, and go bring
Okay.
them to the wizard.
Okay, the wizard takes the handkerchief and opens it up and says, "Teleportation crystals. Hmm. Yeah, they definitely are working with that old wizard. He was quite a fan of those.
Why would they try to kill her when we were hired to keep her alive?
She was quite obviously just a distraction in this case, wasn't she? He knew that I'd be able to save her.
Ah,
He probably figured, and quite rightfully so, that I should have had antidote on me since, poisoning has been going around. Um, Momentary lapse of judgment on my part. I had just already used all of it up on the prince, trying to get him healthy again.
right. Interestingly, health potions seem to have some positive effect on the afflicted by at least one of these poisons. Do you think
Uh,
that that would help the prince?
well, what do you think I've been doing along with the antidote?
Oh, well, I have no clue. I'm just spitballing here.
Just the poison that killed the king is a very intense and difficult to cure poison. This one, by the look and smell of it, is rather run of the mill. Very deadly, but easy enough to get your hands on. Could have come from anywhere, really.
Hmm.
Why it's in candy form, well, apparently the Ava here has a penchant for liking poisoned candy.
Yes.
Apparently so.
She just looks up and, is like, poison? But it's candy.
So it turns out you can put poison in candy.
That's silly.
I agree.
She gets to her feet and is like, do I have to go back in the cage now?
um, it may be the safest place for you if you don't take anything from anyone else who isn't accompanied by one of the guards or, someone like that, then you should be safer. Just don't eat any more candy that anyone brings you, pretty much. Just keep it as a pretty rock for a while.
Okay, but candy.
Yeah,
It's
but
even
poison.
Right, and even if nice Jolene gives you candy, I wouldn't eat it.
Well, her candy's yucky anyway.
Okay.
She goes back in her cell, and as soon as the captain of the guard relocks the door, she opens her mouth and starts bellowing out the same song she had been singing again.
Oh, good.
She seems to be of a one-track mind this evening.
Well, I.
It's even worse now because her breathing still isn't back to normal.
um. Well, our next step was going to be interrogating that guy, so I don't really know where we should go from here.
Well, we could.
Wizard says, well, if I could make a suggestion, um, have you actually talked to, well, whoever this Jolene is? I'm not actually familiar with her.
We have, yes.
Although we haven't really been hardballing it.
As of yet, no, but we
Well,
could.
not that I'm an expert in like investigation or anything, but that is, I suppose, where I would start. I mean, she does seem a bit guilty to me.
Yeah, me
There's
too.
definitely something strange going on with her.
Charles mutters there's something strange with all the women in this castle. The wizard puts a hand on
I
his
won't
arm and
disagree.
goes, "Oh, Charles, is the divorce treating you that badly? Really, you can come to my tower and have some tea and talk about it sometime."
Yeah.
I was going to suggest looking for the Dragonborns, but then I remembered they had a teleportation crystal, so they could be anywhere. So that's probably a dead end at this point.
And there's of course that force field that we couldn't get into the other wizard's place, so
Hmm. That is an option if you want to pursue it.
yeah, the force field was just supposed to stop the wizard, right?
The wizard couldn't get in it, yeah, but technically you didn't try very hard to get into it yourself,
Okay.
so you could try.
I mean, we could talk to Jolene and then do that if nothing comes of the Jolene speaking.
Oh, okay,
You do have dirt on her now if you want to leverage that.
exactly.
Yeah. All right. I will I will head towards Jolene. I suppose you'll come with me?
Yeah. Well, and-
So as you go up to Jolene's room, you see her before you can even turn the corner to go towards the servants area. You see her come out of the prince's room with a big smile on her face and a hitch in her step. Then she sees you and her face drops to an annoyed look. She rolls her eyes and tries to just push past you and go to her room.
She does not push past us.
You know, if I scream, they'll believe me.
No, actually. They probably won't. At least the captain of the guard won't.
Captain of the guard, he's just a man. I can make him believe me.
I
After
highly
what
doubt
his
that.
wife did to him, any pretty little thing that's going to look at him, he's going to fall for. A look of consideration goes across her features, and then she's like, no, 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 the prince is better.
So we were dealing with some of this investigation and
The investigation, she's guilty. Come on.
yes, but someone supplied her the poison and it appears that was you.
Oh, it's me. Now you're just blaming the next pretty girl in line, huh?
I don't think you're in line as much as you think you are.
Sure. Now, I know the king didn't like me. He thought that, I was not as pretty as what his son could get. Like, I get it. Um, but they didn't have to turn everyone against me.
Look, I'm trying to be a nice guy here about this,
No,
but
you're not. You're accusing me of treason and killing the king.
yeah, I'm not having you clapped in irons and taken to the torture chamber immediately.
You really think that the prince would allow that to happen?
Yeah? Yeah, I'm actually fairly certain he would.
You don't know the prince like I do. You know, I know you've been in Ava's room. It's obvious. Her box of rocks is less than it was. Also, I notice the letter to me is gone. I went there specifically to get it. You have it, don't you?
So, speaking
It's
about
bad enough that Ava took it thinking it was for her.
speaking about
About that
things that
box of rocks,
yeah,
did you give those to her, the candy to her? She says you did, and she said sometimes you're nice to her and sometimes you're mean to her. I'm not
What?
quite sure
I'm
what the
always
deal
mean
is.
to her. I hate her. I would never do anything nice for her. You know what? Let's go back to my room and argue because you are going to do damage to my social reputation out here if you keep slinging these accusations of me being nice to that girl.
We're asking questions, not slinging accusations.
You accuse me of being nice to Ava.
I wasn't an accusation.
She's storming back to her room and expecting that if you want to talk to her anymore, you can follow her.
I
I
mean,
think we should follow her.
yeah, we can do this in her room or in the torture chamber, whichever is more efficient.
She leaves her door open, but as soon as you walk in, she slams it angrily behind you and is like, "Fine, talk."
So, about this whole you being in this castle anymore thing. We know you've been stealing clothing from dignitaries and other nobles and such.
You've been snooping in my room.
Of course we have. We're investigators, I think. Well,
Your since when do investigators have instruments strapped to them?
since sometime earlier today, actually. I also have
Well,
a
for
bandolier of paint.
well, for an investigator, you are really bad at this because you are barking up the wrong tree.
Uh, so about that, did you happen to sew anything into Ava's bodice before the whole issue came about?
So Ava's dress, like I would grace her with any of my alteration skills. No, I don't even want to touch that dress. The dress that she was stealing away my Phaedron from me with? No. No way.
Can I roll insight to see if she's telling the truth?
Yeah.
Maybe we should both do that.
Yeah. Oh wow, 19 plus 1 for 20.
Let's see here. 14.
She actually seems actually insulted that you would even think that she would touch that dress.
Okay. S-
Now, I will say, if anything was altered on it, uh, she did seem to like some of my stuff, so I was being a little mean and trying to teach her here and there how to sew, but it was only so that she'd made herself look more ridiculous.
Okay. Well, I don't know what else to say to her. I just turn and look at Robin's character and kind of shrug.
Are there any more accusations you want to sling at me?
No, my only concern is I understand you hated her and everything, so why would she think that sometimes you were nice?
She huffs and puffs, looks to you, and looks to the chest where all of her stolen goods are, and goes, "Promise you won't tell about the stolen goods?"
Absolutely, I say. Rolling
I
deception.
promise.
Yeah, roll deception.
18 plus 7 for 25.
Okay, she is deceived. Um, look, look. She sometimes to get her to do things that I want her to do and not make a fuss about it. It was easier for me to pretend like I had a twin sister who didn't hate her guts because she hates my guts because she knows the prince really loves me. I mean, how could she not? She read the letter. Um, but if it's my twin sister, she'll actually get out of bed and put on her clothes in the morning.
I see. Well, it's interesting that you say that because there was this candy in her box of rocks. Did you give that to her?
Yeah, that's always been sent to her from her father. I was just passing it along. If I stole that and her father found out, then, I'd get in trouble. That one I couldn't steal.
I see. No, this is not the time to give it to her. Okay. Um, so you handled this candy personally, ever? Or did you ever handle this candy personally?
Mm, back when they first started arriving a couple months ago, when her father started sending care packages for her, I took a piece or two, but nah, you get old. It gets old after a while. I didn't even bother anymore, especially when she said that it started tasting bad. Why would I even be interested at that point?
Okay. Hmm.
She didn't seem to think it was from her father. She thought you were giving it to her directly.
I, yeah, cultivating that image of me being the good twin.
Mm.
Um, hmm. So do you remember about when she said it started tasting bad?
About a month ago.
Okay.
The candy changed color too. It used to be like all different, like, I guess fruit flavor colors. And then it just became that like weird amber color.
Ah. Well, that's helpful. Hmm. All right. If we have any more questions, then, well,
Ask somebody else.
no, I think I'll still ask you if I have any questions for you. But we can pretend that everything's fine for now. I'll pretend that you were never nice to her or anything like that.
Good. Um, as you are turning to leave, you notice she gets a look on her face of sudden um, remembrance And she runs over to her bed and looks underneath it, and then looks at you and narrows her eyes and is like, "You've been through my shoes."
Absolutely. Oh yeah, speaking of shoes,
Are you sure those were all your shoes to begin with?
Um,
and
Mine enough.
that one pair. You know the pair,
What one pair?
the giant ones.
Oh, those. Well, I'd never seen, shoes that big. They're kind of like an oddity, you know? What woman would have feet that big?
Where did you happen to acquire them?
Um, Joe Mama?
Heh. I'll try and persuade her with better words than that, or like a better uh affect to me, and I'm like, no, no, for real, where did you get them? It's okay, we already know that you took other stuff from other people, so we're just wondering where you got those.
Look, this one could actually get me in real trouble, and it's actually really heartbreaking to me, so I don't even know if I want to talk about it.
I'll shoot persuasion at her. Just try and do this.
Okay.
16 plus 7 for 23 again.
Look, promise that you won't tell where I got them from.
I do. I promise.
Okay. Well, you see, so sometimes when the prince is out, I kind of go into his room and, look for things. I think he knows that I do it because that's where I found the letter to me. Um, but I also I found those in his room, and I took them because I've been trying to figure out who they belong to, because what big-footed woman is in my prince's room? And she starts getting all misty eyes and like looks at the shoes angrily. Someone is trying to woo my prince away from me. And she has clodhopper feet.
I look down at my feet. I look at the shoes. I say, they're not that big.
Oh no, for a woman, for what the prince deserves in a woman, yes, those are huge. They're basically clown shoes.
Very
What's
ornate.
worse is I saw other pairs in there, so she stayed over multiple times and left without her shoes.
Well, um, that's good information for us that there might be another person trying to get in the prince's good graces because we're trying to keep him safe. So if someone else is visiting the prince, then they might have been part of this whole mess in the first place.
Then you tell me, if you find out, you tell me who it is. I'm gonna have uh, so many words to say to her.
Okay. All right. And then I'm I'm done, so I just open the door and go to leave.
Okay? She doesn't stop you. In fact, she seems relieved that you're leaving.
Good. All right. So our next idea was to go try to break through that force field around the old wizard's house
Hmm.
or apartment. I wasn't certain which.
It's more of an apartment.
To the old wizard. Maybe. Hopefully he doesn't try to kill us.
Right. He might. He's already had tried to have us killed by the Dragonborns or whatever the hell they were.
That's assuming that the wizard is correct and that was what was happening.
Yeah.
So as you go towards the main stair entrance, you again see the wizard going up to the prince's room, and he says, "Oh, fancy to see you again. I'm going to check on the prince with more antidote. If
Is
there's
he
people,
wearing shoes?
he is wearing shoes, not fancy shoes. They're normal boots.
Okay,
Um, but if there's somebody going around poisoning people again, I want to make sure that he's all right and has some antidote at his bedside."
good plan. We're gonna go try to break into the old wizard's house.
You know that's a terrible idea, correct?
Oh, is it?
Probably.
He's he was a court wizard for like decades. How is that not a terrible idea? He's looking at you like you might. He looks at you the way he looks at Ava.
Oh, that's not good.
Well, we were hoping that he would still just, allow us in and not blast us with magic.
Oh, after he's been sending his little half dragon cronies on you. Yes, I'm sure he'd open up the door and welcome you like tea like I do. I
Yeah.
bet he doesn't even drink tea. I bet he's some sort of heathen.
Hmm. He is a strange man. Maybe he doesn't drink tea. I look pondering of that.
Well, I'm told that he spends all of his time just trying to figure out how to change his form, so I think he's too busy for tea.
Too
Well,
busy
to
for
be
tea.
honest, if any of us had his form, we'd probably want to change it too.
Yes, I have quite a theory about how this whole thing plays into that. Uh, Over tea sometime, we might discuss this, unless you think it would be pertinent to saving the girl, though I still think the girl is the mechanism.
Oh no, she may be the mechanism, but I think that she at least didn't know that she was doing it. So we want to keep her alive until we get all of the information we can out of her. That's my personal theory.
Information you can out of her. Yeah, good luck with that.
I mean, maybe someone will have another attempt on her life and we can catch them in the act this time. And then we could get information from someone that's competent.
I'm starting to realize that very few people in this castle are competent. Maybe the head mage. She's got a decent head on her shoulders, but she's one of the few. Captain of the Guard, as much as I appreciate him and his valor, is also a few sticks shy of a full bundle.
Yeah, I kind of caught that. He made the same mistake we did.
And how do you feel about Jolene?
Jolene. Who is she again?
She's the maid that visits the prince all the time and tries to get in his pants.
He rolls his eyes a little bit. Yes, she often comes in when I'm trying to heal the prince, and well, the way she wants to heal him is too much activity for someone recovering. Um, she is an interesting character. I'm not sure she understands for herself that it's quite obvious that she's in love with the position it would afford her, and not really him.
I don't think she quite understands that he may not feel about her as she thinks he does.
I think that's quite obvious, to be quite frank there. I don't think he has much interest in her at all.
Yeah, I don't either. But I don't think she realizes that as obvious as it is.
When this topic of Jolene being in love with him and him not reciprocating, you notice the wizard looks almost like he's getting a little miffed. Yes, well, I'm going to go check on the prince for the evening, and then I will truly, hopefully, retire to my tower if no one or if everyone would do me the favor of not touching any obvious poison anymore.
I will endeavor to avoid touching any poisons or hopefully any more magical things because I'm afraid that they might be cursed.
Okay. The wizard goes past. He reiterates that you're invited for tea tomorrow and then turns down towards the prince's room.
Okay. Well, it's probably a bad idea to go through with our idea of that, so maybe we could just like wander around town until we get attacked again and then try to capture. That's also a bad idea.
So as you're discussing this at the bottom of the steps, you hear a strange, like, dragging sound, like someone is trying to walk forward but can't walk very well. As you look at the top of the stairs, there's Jolene, her face completely purple. She collapses forward and falls all the way to the bottom of the stairs, and at the bottom, you hear her neck snap.
Ah, shoot. I needed her for information, I say. Maybe we should go get the guards?
Good
Do you want to
plan.
investigate her body at all?
Sure, I will check. The first thing I will do is check to see if she has any candy in her mouth.
You check, and there is indeed candy in her mouth.
Ah, I will pull out a handkerchief and pluck it out.
Also, clasped in her hands before her is a crumpled up, what looks like it was a note that had been like slipped under her door or something that says, I must see you, I love you, here's a little sweet taste of my love.
Ah,
Okay, I was wondering if we had gotten to her and she committed suicide. That does not seem to be the case.
so, first off to the wizard, because we know where he is, to give him this candy. If you could
Mhm.
stay with the body while I run up to him,
Okay,
and if you see any guards, wave them down, because we
I
don't
will
want to
grab
be
them if I see.
we don't want to be taken for having done
Right.
this.
So as you run up to the wizard, and our half orc stays with the body, the main maid comes out of the kitchen, her dinner finish, stops, looks at the body, looks at you, and says, "I told the girl she was going to get herself killed one day. Some angry wife was going to take it out on her."
Well, somebody did.
I
Uh,
mean, I can't. The girl was basically the town bicycle. She's pissed off so many of the townswomen that, it was, I'll get a guard, but really, it was only a matter of time. She had no sense of self-preservation.
so she was after more than just the prince then. She was.
Oh, yes. If it was male and had more than a few gold in its pockets, she would be in his pockets too. Oh, Jolene, she says as she steps over the body. She could have walked around. She chose to step over the body. I'll go get somebody to clean this up. She would choose my night off. God damn it, Jolene. She just mutters about Jolene as she walks away. Okay, so you find the wizard, and he has just entered the prince's room. And he turns around and looks at you at surprise and goes, "Oh, you're back so soon."
Julian's dead. She ate a poisoned candy. I think.
Oh, that's worrying.
Yeah, I brought the candy. This time I didn't touch it myself.
Ah, you can learn. That's wonderful. Um, that says wonderful things for you. Um, thank you. You've wrapped it up so nicely. Um, well, I guess that cements my idea of what I maybe should do tonight. He turns to the prince and says, this might seem awkward, but I might want to set up in this room with you tonight. We can have a guard here too if you want, but I think, well, with people going around poisoning people related to your father's death, I think this is probably for the best. And the prince nods and says, "Yeah, that's fine. You can stay here tonight." Jolene's dead, huh?
Yeah, so she ate some poison candy and then fell down the stairs and broke her neck.
That's a terrible way to go. Wait, poison candy?
Yeah, don't eat any candy anytime soon.
I don't really like sweets, but I'll keep that in mind.
Also, perhaps keep antidote near you. I think that was the wizard's plan, though.
Ah, yes, he's kept me really stocked up on antidote. I will probably be okay.
I turn to the wizard and say, so I suppose if you'll be staying here for the night, the prince will probably be safe. But if you need anything, we'll be spending the night at the inn. Uh, I am at this point uncertain of where to go with this whole thing. Oh, one quick bit. Jolene was stealing a bunch of nobles' clothes, so if someone was looking for their clothes recently, I would check her room first.
A look of recognition kind of blossoms on the prince's face, and his lips just thin out into a line. He nods his head once and goes, "I see, I should have known." Well, thank you. Um, Also, I think it would be rather improper of me not to offer you to stay here instead of the inn. I mean, you are doing investigating for me, and it seems only right that you've been trying to sort this whole mess out.
Well, that's a wonderful offer, and I will.
He makes a little smirky grin on his face, and he says, "There is an empty room now." Too soon?
um, Perhaps. Also, there's only one bed, and I don't think all four of us could share it.
No, the fairies are small, to be fair. But no, it was only a joke. We have plenty of rooms. You can stay in one of the dignitary rooms.
Thank you. That's very kind. All right. So I will take my leave, and if you need me, I'll be in the dignitary suite. Um, and we will begin or continue our investigation in the morning. But I think it's also time for us to get some food since we haven't eaten all day.
Yeah, help yourself to the kitchen. Just flag down whatever servant and tell them that I've said that you have free reign to get whatever you want.
Thank you. I
I guess I need to start acting more like the monarch in charge around here. So,
Yes, sad that.
yes, tragedy. He has no emotion on his face when he says that. Quite the tragedy. Anyway, um, I should like some sleep myself since I'm still recovering. Um, Wizard, please lock the door behind him. I'm done being interrupted for the night.
All right.
You are ushered out, and the wizard locks the door behind you.
Okay. So, I'll go return to my half-orc friend, and,
The captain of the guard is like haphazardly slinging her dead body over his shoulder, and he is like, "Yep, knew this was gonna happen."
surprised that it was the same poison that was used on Jolene.
He's like, "Well,
Or,
you
I'm sorry,
know,
on Ava.
nothing surprises me anymore, and honestly, this might get my wife back."
Huh.
Yeah, Jolene and I have a history.
Ah. Well,
Um,
now you don't. Or you have only history, I suppose.
Right?
yeah, well, I thought we had something special. Turns out Jolene didn't understand that being captain of the guard didn't mean I was actually rich.
Right. Speaking of that, maybe we should get the prince to pay you better. You've been doing quite a great job, in my opinion.
Well, I basically get free room and board, so it's not been a huge deal up until now, but yeah, 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 more money would probably be a good thing. Then I could actually attract another woman if my wife doesn't accept that it's truly over now.
Okay.
He seems awfully broken up about Jolene being dead, doesn't he?
Yeah. Um,
Look, she was a mistake.
yes, I think that is probably the feeling of many a man around here.
Yeah, yeah, well, I was just one in her Rolodex.
Well, we're off to eat, so if we turn up dead from poison, then check with the kitchen staff.
Don't eat any candy. That's the only suggestion I have for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not planning on it.
All right, so they clean up the area around the stairs. They cart off her body, and then you're left to the kitchen where the staff basically shrug and say, "We'll make you anything you want," or help yourself. As the staff, we just kind of rummage through the leftovers and whatever's in the pantry. There's plenty of stuff. Just take what you want. Don't touch the giant funeral cake, though. It was going to be the wedding cake. We just got done refrosting it in black, though. Well, we couldn't let it go to waste. Do you know how much sugar in that? And do you know how expensive sugar is?
Oh yes, I'm actually quite aware. Speaking of which, there's a lot of candy going around recently. Have you noticed that?
Candy? What are you even talking about? I would kill for some candy.
Well, it's apparently to die for, quite literally.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't eat any candy. It's poison. That's what we've learned today.
Yes.
Okay. That's a new one. Why would they waste poison in candy? Candy's so expensive.
Yeah, that was my thought too, but apparently it makes women just fall over themselves for it.
Well, I mean, I could be lured into a gingerbread house with some candy. I mean, I would admit that we never get anything sweet around here.
Hopefully you'll get a bit of that giant cake.
I, well, we have a theory that there's going to be far too much, so we hope. Especially, well, now it's frosted black, which don't ask how we got the frosting black. We're just going to scrape that off and eat the inside. It's a funeral cake. We didn't really have an outline of how to make this.
Right. Um, I would assume that in the future you could use a small amount of charcoal powder to get it at least a deep gray.
Oh, a small amount.
Yeah, so it turns out that out of character that painting is one of my character's better talents,
Mm-hmm.
and he carries around a bunch like a bandolier of paints with him all the time.
Okay.
So he's perfect for knowing color theory at least.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, you get your food down. You out of curiosity go look at the giant cake, and you're like, "Yep, that screams for a dead person." They actually seem to have had rather fun with it. Like there might be like a marzipan figure that may or may not be the king with slumped over one of the layers, like with giant X's as for the eyes.
Oh no.
You really, really get the sense he was not popular with the staff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he wasn't popular with much of anyone from what I can tell.
One of the layers also has an offensively pink marzipan figure, and her head is noticeably separated from her body on a totally different tier. Somebody just had a lot of fun.
Ah,
Um, so you get your food, you see the very macabre cake, and you go on up to bed. Surprisingly, no one almost dies on your way up there, and you don't see the wizard. So you're just able to get into the dignitary's room, which has a huge bed and several smaller beds that you can divvy up who is sleeping where. But other than that, I think this is a good place to leave off.
okay. Um,
Only one person died under your investigation.
yeah, it
Yeah,
wasn't
well, good riddance
someone.
to her anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say it wasn't someone that anyone really cared about.
It's, it's true.
Um,
All right. Well, I hope it was at least an interesting experience trying to unravel things with only the two of you.
yeah,
um, Boy, I tried to avoid the fights that I had planned because you would have horrifically died. So, hopefully, we'll have some more combat next time. Um,
yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Oh, that was episode
3.
3 of The Bird in the Basement. Um, I suppose that I will plug myself here for once. I know, strange that I'm willing to do it. But I did on Royal Road recently put up the first chapter of a new novel web series that I'm started, also called The Bird in the Basement, that is based on the alternate reality of this exact story, but with my own main character in it. So, um, while it will follow this exact same scenario, my character will go about it differently. My ideal way of dealing with it, I suppose. Um, so you can enjoy what the players get up to here, and then maybe have a look at what I thought should happen um, as that unfolds. And since I know Robin would like to not for herself, I will also plug Robin's work on Amazon. Um, so go check her out there too and buy her stuff.
Yep.
Uh, Josh, you have nothing to plug, so I don't know what to say for you.
That's okay.
You need to update your Royal Road.
Yeah.
Um, Otherwise, I think that's it for the evening, unless anybody has anything else.
No. I think we're good. Go ahead and like and subscribe. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, Discord, and pretty soon we'll be back streaming on Twitch.
Yeah, once we figure all that out eventually.
Yep. So, yeah. Thanks for watching us, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Bye, everyone.
See you
Bye.
next time.